Wow, that was like right on time. Is this working? Microphone. Hello, hello. Yep, working good. Wow, what a week. Because I'm just talking that when a hurricane comes, it doesn't take a day, it takes a week. Because you worry about it for 2 or 3 days before it comes, and then you clean up for 2 or 3 days after it leaves. And think about the damage that happened along the coast. Scraped it. Just the entire state of Florida everybody got damaged. Cars got flooded, houses got flooded. The rivers just crested last night here in Hillsborough County. It's never ending. The rivers crest. When the hurricanes come, it pushes water up into the bay, whereas the bay feeds the rivers. So the rivers get water pushed up and it builds up and then it has to flow back out. Yeah. So, yeah. And then cresting sometimes 20, 30 feet high.
And that's just the physical effects of the storm, the 2-3 days before with preparation, to 2-3 days after cleanup. That doesn't even account for the emotional and mental part of it, of the buyers and sellers that were thinking of buying and selling, that are trying to figure out what their next step is going to be and what they're going to do. And then you're dealing with all of that. Maybe it's not a good decision. Maybe we need to slow down, and
maybe we need to move. Maybe Florida was the place to be. And that's why we asked you guys last week to reach out and just offer help and condolences to see what people are going through. I've lived here all my life, so I'm not really too concerned. Good morning. Because it just happens, right? Right. Yeah. Well, and we covered all that, right? We had force majeure, and we've got, what's the other clause?
risk
of loss. Risk of loss. So we had both of those come into play. And we had a lot of closings. We hit 1.6 million something as of Friday, according to Joy. And we had 17 sales over the weekend turned in, which is really strong. When you consider what we just went through, 17 sales over the weekend turned in, we're going to be fine, but it's time to get back to work now. Hopefully we had the long weekend to clean everything up. Houses put back together. Windows are clean. Docks are swept off. All is good. Let's jump in. I've got a quote. We are now in the month of September, and we still have 4 great months to achieve a lot of business goals. So let's not turn it off yet, right? I'll tell you right now, fourth quarter, it slows down. Just absolutely does. But who's it slow down for?
The people who slow down.
The people who slow down. 100%. If you work through quarter 4, what's going to happen? Yeah, you're going to totally set up next year and have a good end of this year. Yep. Hopefully the following thoughts will help you assist in finishing a strong year. I wrote this one. I picked one quote. Experience is a hard teacher because she gives you the test first and the lessons afterwards. Right? So what does that mean in our business? Sometimes we just have to go out and try something.
Well, also partnering with a good business partner who's been in the business as a Century 21 since 1992. We've gathered a lot of experience and a lot of history and a lot of cycles, and you can kind of see things and help direct you with what's coming and what's happening. And we've been really positioning the company and ourselves with a lot of what's been happening and transpiring.
Yeah, and I'm waiting for the fall. I predicted it's going to happen. You're going to see all these little startup companies that started, these mom and pop little tiny companies that opened up with their little business models that are all different. They're all not making money, and at some point they're going to run out, and they're going to shut their doors, and their agents are going to leave. And I'll show you an example of that in a little bit because it's happening. So, experienced teacher, because you give the test first, and you get the lessons afterwards. Remember, there's a lot of transactions to be done in the next 4 months. 1,400, write this one down, 1,492, good morning, people a day are moving to Florida. That's an amazing number. Where are they going? A lot of them are going to Tampa Bay. Why? It's one of the most affordable markets that actually has resources. Miami's getting crowded, got no place to grow. Where are we growing? Riverview, Ruskin, South Shore, Manatee County, everything east of 75, all that stuff. When you fly from here to Miami, what do you see between here and Miami? Yeah, people are moving all over because they can. My point is, when you fly from here to Miami, what do you see between here and Miami? Land. There's nothing but land, right? I remember Lake Toscano was in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
Now it's not, right? Paramount Title. How did we do last week with closings? Miss Megan?
Good morning. We had a ton on Friday. Everything went smoothly, so we got them all done. But with the hurricane, we had some that got pushed back. We had a couple that fell off due to damages, which is unfortunate for those clients. But we got most of them done and closed, and that's awesome.
Yes. And you've got a training topic for us this next week?
Yes, we have keys to a successful closing next Thursday, September 14th, from 8:30 to 9:30 in Craig's Zoom link. We are going to go over what title insurance is and why it is important. It is the biggest question, and I can say that very few agents know what the title company actually is offering with the owner's policy and the title insurance. So we're going to go over all that. If you have any questions, bring them, but I'm really excited to share that one with you guys.
It really is important because we just take it for granted that title insurance is just part of the game. But if you were asked the question by the seller, why do I need this? Can you articulate an answer quickly? It's just standard. No, that's not the answer, right? We just had a case
Because I said so.
because I said so.
I tell my
That gives you all the
5-year-old.
Because I
Yeah, and
said-
a lot of clients go, to attorneys' offices, and that's the biggest thing they'll say is, well, we're gonna save you money because we're not gonna have you pay for an owner's policy. And they're like, okay, save money, I'm down. But they don't realize how much protection that they're getting when they get this owner's policy. It's one of those things you don't think you need it until you need it.
Right. And there's a reason the banks won't close without it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
Megan, what is the date again for that?
It is September 14th, next Thursday. Oh,
Cool.
yeah, next Thursday.
Yep. Perfect.
All right, we'll see you guys then. Have a great week.
It's your
It'll be on the
training.
morning meeting link, 8:30 to 9:30.
That Paramount's a standard every second Tuesday, every second Thursday of the month. We're doing a Paramount something or other. Thank you, Megan. Thanks for all those
You're
closings.
very
Yep.
welcome. Absolutely.
Let's recap the things we've been talking about. That was just last week, and it doesn't end now. People are going to still be freaked out. Where are people? People are coming here from where? California, New York, New Jersey, Texas, Pennsylvania, Ohio. They're not used to it. They're still going to be scared. So you've got all the reasons in the world. And what's our main objective with you right now? Talk to people. Be a human being. Talk to people. Find out what they're up to, what they're thinking, what they're doing, where their equity is. All those little things we've been talking about over the last couple months really are just great. Hi, Lisa, all the way from Tampa. Wow. That's it. Just talk to people. That's it. And we have all the reason in the world to do it right now. Okay, let's move on. Okay. I didn't pick managers. I'm going to play a game right now. I'm going to finish that slideshow from the economic survey from FAR. That's telling us what's going on. So slide number 1 is 39. All the way down. We covered these over the last 3 weeks. So median days on market. I think this is just really relevant to see where we came, how good it got, which kind of messes up, and where we are now, which is still in a really good place for most places. 2018, the inventory average days on market was median days on market was 45. That's kind of fast, right? That was the beginning of the really good times. Then 2019, they got a little shorter. 2020 got really hot. 2021, there was nothing. 12 days on market. That's an insane number, right? And here we are in 2023, way below where we were in 2018 or 2019, which we thought was good. This is the truth, though. 26 days on market is where we're at as a state, right? And of course, micro markets have different things happening within them. But what would you say about that market? Jeff, what would you say about a market like that? Under the bus.
Throwing me under the bus, huh? Throw me right in. About the median days?
Yeah.
There is, see, all of this is just market related, right?
Yeah.
So that's the issue. It's the general overarching market. And it doesn't matter is really my statement to this slide, because it really only matters the micro market that you're dealing with right now. And it changes. In every one of our towns, there's different micro markets that have larger properties that have been out there for a long time. And we've got properties that have been on the market just for a couple of days. So I think it's difficult to say, hey, it's going to take you 60 days to sell, because it depends on the micro market. Now we can look at the big trends And like this is showing right here that it's actually lower than it was last year. And so, but is it really? Because I can tell you just in my little city right
Mirror
here,
Bay is not.
Madeira Bay is not. And just in Madeira Beach, right? Just as and in Miami and every little markets, we have little neighborhoods that are flying. You've got other products that are sitting longer. So I think it's important to kind of get away from the overarching macro statements and really drill back down to micro on it, because that's the only thing that really matters. And when they read headlines that average days are up, it depends on how you price it, depends on your motivation, depends on your strategies. So it just gives us an opportunity to have more conversations. That's what I get out of that.
Good. My takeaway from this is 2018 and 2019 were really strong markets, and the days on markets were in the 40s. When it was really hot, we were in the 10s and 12s. Now we're in the 23s. So we're not good. We're not bad. We're right in the middle. So we're not going to complain about that. I'm going to tell you a story about a house on my street, and I've told it before. I'm going to say it again. Just hit Kathy Griggs sent out a mailer to my neighborhood, and I got this Symphony House update. And the last house closed at $586 a foot. There were 2 sales in the $300 plus high 300s, and everything else was in the low $400 a square foot. And then an out of town broker with no market knowledge came and put a house on the market at $600 a foot because we set that new benchmark. But the house that sold for $586 a foot was cul-de-sac, extra wide, beautiful views of the bay, big boat dock, covered roof, and a 3,000 square foot garage on the first floor. The house they listed is a regular house with a 2-car garage. Not the same. So the local knowledge is really, really important. And that's why we owe it to ourselves to do into the farming program that you're working on and everybody's working on to get our local knowledge in place. So we deal with the micro markets, not the macros. Okay, cool. Next slide. Median price for existing home sales. What are people saying in the marketplace right now? Prices are
Dropping, falling.
Prices are falling. Everybody, the news, prices are falling. Prices are falling. What does this chart show you? 2023 versus last year.
Right in line.
We're right on line with 2022. And 2022, was that higher or lower than, look at 2011. Median price in 2011 was $120,000. You remember those days? Some of you don't. If you haven't been, you've been in real estate for long enough, right? Yeah.
But look, that's nearly a 300% increase from 2011. So even if prices did fall a small percentage, we're still better than we were last year. So we better than we were in 2021, and still 300% better than you were in 2011. I mean, so it all depends on how you look at it. We're still pacing very well. The appreciation is what is slowing down, not the prices falling.
That's it. You can see it right there.
But what happened was you see prices in 2021 and they went up a year later in 2022. And now they're just not going up the same as they were in 2021 to 2022. They are pacing the same prices that were there last year in 2022. And the reason why it seems and appears that some prices are falling is because some people tried their price. They say, wow, look, every year it's gone up, it's gone up, it's gone up. Let's price it up here. So they went way off the graphs and priced their home like that. By the time they actually sell, they've got to come down here to where the prices really are, which is why it appears to some people that prices are falling. The example of $600 a square foot, that price is going to have to come down to sell. It should have never been at that price in the first place. It should have been more in line with here, but they started way up here, hoping and wishing and praying that somebody might see the flag and salute.
And Jeff and I were talking the other day. I mean, he said $600 a foot. Our stuff over here is $1,000 a foot for a waterfront house. Different markets, different everything, right? So anyway, where would you rather have bought a house? Up here or down here? 10 years from now, where would you like to buy a house? Here or up there? Right? The trends are going to probably continue. That prices are going to continue because why? Supply is limited and demand is high.
Mm-hmm.
How many people a day are moving to Florida? 1142.
1,142 people.
1,142 people a day. That's demand and supply. What's happening? What's the problem with supply? It takes time to build, right? So what are they doing right now? They're scraping lots all over the place, and they're putting in the sewers, and they're putting in the roads, and they're putting in water, all that type of stuff. And what does that mean for us, by the way? What are we paid on? Commission is based on
Price,
price. What's our average commission now?
11,000.
11, 12,000. Actually, our pendings were 13,000 for the rest of this month. So we all got raises, which should make us work harder. If you're going to pour in the metal. Next slide. Last slide. Dollar volume of closed existing home sales. Interesting. Little different tale. It's the sum total of all the prices of everything that's sold. Right? So what have we had this year? More sales or fewer sales?
Fewer.
Fewer sales. So this is sales volume. So even though the prices are higher, we've sold fewer houses. So the volume is lower than it was in 2021 and 2020 here, but it's higher than it was in 22 is a little bit higher because we had more volume of sales. There were more houses that sold, even though the prices were lower, the volumes. That's not a bad graph. It just puts in reality that we have fewer sales, but the volume is still pretty high compared to last year.
If you go from 5.9 million home sales to 4.5 million home sales, you would have to have your prices increase a really significant amount for that number to be the same.
Mhm.
And you can see we're still somewhat pacing 2022. We're not far off of last year.
Mhm.
So the dollar volume is close, but it is down.
But the volume of sales is down. So the prices have come up. You know, we didn't ever had $2 million houses in Apollo Beach. We never had $10 million houses in Tampa. Now there's 10 and $20 million houses. I've got a builder friend of mine who's spec'ing a house for $14 million on the beach. Who's going to buy that? 14 million. How about the taxes? What are the property taxes on 14 million?
30,000.
Probably no more than that. No, 200,000.
Oh yeah.
Probably 200,000 a year. Yeah. We're the property tax, right? Tampa's growing up. Right. How much? $266,000 in property tax. Okay. That's that one. Upcoming events. Miami, in October. So RSVP required. And this one just is personal to me because I don't like when bullshit baffles brains. And Remax has been really targeting us. How many of you got a package from Remax? Right? They sent out a really robust package, which personally looked like crap. It wasn't a Moxie type of presentation that looked good, but they assume that their agents are doing great. They use all these nationwide stats. So I went into our database and I looked at what their production is, and here it is. So this is all the agents at Remax Unlimited. This is copied from Broker Metrics. It's a Zillow prop program. And so their top agent, they did 845 units this year. We just hit 1,000. So just as a result. Their top agent did 149. So that's a team, Jason McIntosh team, 149. They had a Jennifer Pichette did 53. She's a good agent. 27, 18, 16, 15, 13, 13, 13. So their top 30 people did 10 deals or more. Correct. That's their top 30 people did less than one deal a month. Right. And then look at the rest. And I'm going to point out some names because these people used to work for us. Ricky Bauman did 10. You're driving the mouse.
Yeah. It's
Deborah Haley did 8. That's good for her. Gino, how many remember Gino Stopawenko? The guy was on fire. He was doing 20, 30 deals a year with us. What's he doing now? Oh, 7.
7.
From 20 or 30 a year to 7. Glad I got that higher 10% split. He gets 90%. Yeah. Aaron Bowen, 5 deals. Aaron Bowen. Tyler was Gino's son, who's just getting in the business. He's done 5 deals this year. Right? Jackie, how many have you done this year so far? Do you know? You don't even know. More than that, probably. Debbie Vogel, 4. Debbie was a solid 20 deal a year producer with us. Bonnie Fagot, solid. That's right. Look at Bonnie Fagot. Bonnie Fagot was solid 15, 20 deals a year with us. 3. Look at the map. Look at the chart right there. Mike Maynard worked for us. Well, he's done 3 deals this year. That's not an agent. What did I call it the other day? An accident. Bradley's good. Bradley's doing well.
Look, well,
Sure.
we've been following and tracking these just so we have those stats, but we're just not going to lower ourselves to their standard. If you read the package they sent out, it was literally an attack on basically saying all this bad stuff about
Us.
our company, trying to make them look better. And we're just trying to show you, when you put apples to apples and make comparisons, you can clearly see that they're not standing behind and giving prescriptive actions and doing the same kind of things that we're doing, because our best interests are in you doing more business and making more money, which is what you've all told us that you want. So we're going to stand up for that. And we just don't feel that they're doing the same. And just wanted to show you some of the stats and numbers that are coming out.
More
from
money
that.
comes from more work. It just does. Do you remember? Well, you go to work there, right? Look at Charmaine Blake, 2 deals a year. How about Alex Gill? Remember Alex Gill?
One-
Oh, that's right.
One deal.
Alex was a machine. How many deals did he do?
He was doing 20, 25 deals, 20 to 30 deals every year. He did one.
He was a machine. Look at him now. 1 transaction in 2023. One. No. But that just makes a difference. So when you get this marketing propaganda, yeah. Yeah. And he pays for office space. Well, just 1 deal. Yeah, you work there too. Mhm. Mhm. I wish you had a mic in your hand, but because but you're saying they give you no training, you pay for everything. Everything they said in that article. There's a long article about how bad we were, but I just wanted to see.
It's
Some
the
talk
whole
to us.
point is it's not about your split, it's about your 1099. When we start looking at what the agents were doing here, they were earning more money, doing more deals, which gave them more experience, more past clients, and the ability to build their business more next year because they had more people to market to, more people to communicate with and talk with. But then when you go somewhere because I want a higher pay on every deal that I did, that's predicated on you still doing more deals. And you can
Or
see
admin.
that they are not surrounding themselves with a partner that's really interested in them doing more deals. So they're doing less deals. They're cutting their commissions. They're doing less deals. So they're making the same amount or less money doing less deals. So if if everybody says work smarter, not harder, but in this business, it's about having more past clients because that's what builds your business. If you don't have the past clients, you don't have people to market to next year. Most everybody who's been in this business for more than 5 years has those past clients. And now that's where the majority of your business comes from. So imagine going somewhere to do less business. So you have to keep working harder for longer to get more past clients because you wanted more on every check. But you're going to make the same amount of money at the end of the year. This is really about you changing and shifting your mindset, your attitudes, and your intentions. I always tell people when I talk with them, you're going to make the same amount of money no matter where you go. It's the same reason that 70% of NFL and NBA players within 5 years of leaving the league end up bankrupt or broke. The same stats with lottery winners. 70% of lottery winners after winning the lottery within 5 years end up broke because they never shift their attitude, their intentions, their mindset, or their focus at all. And what has been our main focus with you? Intentions, clarity, focus, trying to get you to focus on
Actions.
something, to start taking action and then be held accountable. So it's really about partnering with somebody who has that type of mentality of, I want to help you shift and change your mindset about money, about business, about your intentions and what you can achieve, not just let you sit there and flounder and do all the things that you've been doing, because you're always going to make that same amount of money until you start changing this.
What was that email I sent you the other day? That little company,
Oh, Lexland
Realty. They're going to hire 100 agents in the next week. They said, and because they're the best thing, and it's 100% and all this stuff. And I looked them up. They have 12 agents. And what would they do? 8 transactions?
8 transactions.
8 transactions with 12 agents. Yeah. Well, that's what the game is. You guys know that, right? You guys are going to be hunted because you're good, right? And you are good, but you and us together are better. So that's the message I want to get, because you are going to be hunted because you're good. Mhm. Let her say that. This, the dead air just is bad.
It's just that the market keeps on changing, and over there, they don't have meetings or anything, and you're here and Jeff are here
Mhm.
all the time, putting us up to date on what things are going on
Yep.
at the moment. So we can serve better the clients when we're up to date on everything.
And what are we really focusing on with clients right now? Nurturing them. How do we nurture them? With Moxie. Jimmy's getting some major accolades at Century 21.
We
Corporately.
get Tom Ferry training every morning out of Craig's mouth.
That's right.
I mean, what people pay $800 or $1,500 a month for, we get for free. Just tune in.
We have 98 people online out of 600. Not that I measure. Exactly. Okay. You guys are smoking them, building a past client database that will reward you for years to come. Let's utilize Moxie. Jimmy. Do you really? 650 past clients? You don't need to prospect ever again. Mhm. Mhm. Yeah, your husband passed away and you took 3 months off and you did 12 deals. Right. Right. Jimmy, what was the most recent accolade you just got? What are you're speaking at where? Oh, leadership.
Oh yeah, leadership. I'm doing a C21 experience with brokers outside of Century 21. So
They're
everybody that
using
they're
Jimmy to recruit
recruiting and I'm
new
talking-
brokers to the Century 21 franchise. And they gave him a big thank you and they're paying for his convention pass and hotel room.
Supposedly have a lot of people sign up with Century.
Isn't that cool? Yeah, so he's interviewing, using Moxie as a tool to sell new brokers into joining the system, and their conversion rate's gone up because Jimmy's teaching them. That's awesome. Good job, dude.
Thank you.
You deserve it. All right, almost done. In case you missed it, Angelique spends a lot of time redoing these classes. So if you do miss them, catch up because we put a lot of time. We missed our manager meeting this week, so it's new. Sad news, well, good and bad news. Kathy McKinnon, who's been with us since, we left that office in 1998. So what's that, 2 years, 23, 25 years ago? We've been, Kathy, she just had hip replacements. So she's now walking around and she's back on working, but her mother passed away last week. So we're in your prayers and very sad, but we love you both. And I didn't get any feedback from this statement last week. Do you want us to help you create a clause that you can work with a buyer? Because all these little, I call them ants that are running around not charging good commissions. One of the things that came out of Tom Ferry's program was, hey, look, I charge 3%. Some brokerages are not paying 3%. So if you want to work with me, you're going to sign an agreement that says you'll make up the difference of what the other broker's paying versus what I'm receiving. And I think it's a great idea. We did that with short sales for sure, because people were offering very little commissions. So if you want that, we'll build some training around it. It can't hurt, right? Because what's happening in the marketplace now? What are the builders are my guide. I love the builders. Oh, and I got some really cool ideas. I met the builder last week. Lennar's paying 5% again on some deals. Are they moving it still at 1?
Yeah, they're still spread out. Like they still pay, 2% on some of their deals. They're incentivizing agents on the ones that and the neighborhoods they want to move and the sales that they want to move at 4% and 5%. And so
Probably the to-be builds. Mhm.
Yep.
Once they're out of the ground and they're paying interest on it, they want to sell it.
Yep.
Yeah. Right. Yep. Or sell D.R. Horton. 3+++. So watch the builders. That's where a lot of the stuff is going to be coming from.
And
Right.
if you pay attention, if you're in any of the areas where your listing is going to be competing somewhat with builders, even if they're not in your community, go out 3 to 5 miles and look and see where a good portion of the pending properties within that price point are coming from. You'll notice that a good portion of the pendings are the new construction builds. You'll see a big cluster of pendings where the new construction is, and then kind of sporadic elsewhere. So you do have to be aware of what you're going to be competing with the incentives from the builders.
And be double aware, because when you see they're pending on the MLS at 389, that doesn't include the bonus commission and the interest rate buy down and the closing cost prepaids. So 389 might really be 379 And if you're pricing your resale at 389, you got an old house that's overpriced. And I love your point about getting outside of the neighborhood too. Now, what's the difference really? A customer who's here from Idaho, and I'll use South County example, but they can live in Mirror Bay off water, or they could live in Harbor Isles. Could you ever compare Harbor Isles to Mirror Bay?
Nope.
Hell yeah, you can.
Well,
Because consumer says
To-
for
and when you-
500 grand, I can
when
live
you look
here.
at the products,
Yeah.
no, but when you look at a buyer who doesn't know the difference, wait a minute. So it's going to be 550 or 450 or 850 or 650. And it's just as close. And I drive to the store the same. I do
Mm-hmm.
everything else the same. My kid goes to the same school. Those things, they start to see that as a big difference.
Yep.
So just my point is a buyer who's looking in this area, when they put in an area from somewhere else, they put Tampa and they end up in Parrish. They put Tampa, they end up in Wesley Chapel. They put Tampa, they end up in Lakeland. So any buyer that puts in an area is willing to look 3 to 5 miles outside of where your home is, unless there's that one specific buyer who says, nope, I need that neighborhood, that street, because I have this family and that person, and it's got to be close to this and there. They're going to select something that would be reasonable, maybe 3 to 5 miles around that if they were very specific. So you have to consider that.
My favorite email this weekend came from Jimmy. It was Neighborhood News. Showed me the new listing that popped up on Mans Harbor, which is a street in Mirror Bay on the lagoon. $2.7 million, 6,000 square feet, not on the water. That's a nut. Who did that? I mean, $2.7 million not on the water. Yeah,
They
I-
are 1.5%. It's a limited service listing.
Oh my God. it's going to get very limited service.
Mhm.
Yeah. hmm it was Jimmy's listing as
It's
far as I'm
it's
concerned, 'cause
it's
I
a
got it
limited
for
service
$100.
company. It's Baycombe Real Estate, I think is what it was. There's a bunch of limited service companies that will put it on. They'll do it for you, which is we'll put it on the market.
It's
We'll
on the
put it
market,
on
right.
MLS. And we'll do,
There's a waterfront house here, a waterfront house here, and a square yard with a fence that comes with a thing. And this house is not on the water for $2.6 million. They probably bought it for 800,000. But that's what's happening in the marketplace. And that's why, yeah. Craig Isms are coming out all over the place. That's all they got on the agenda for today. Managers, have anything want to chip in? Anybody excited about the upcoming weeks? I am. The rest of this year's gonna be fantastic for us. So stay the metal, keep your clients up to date, and we will rock and roll. And today's our last day to turn in closings. So please, anything you do to get those closings in this week, we'll put
yes,
them on.
go the extra mile. So anything that was supposed to close by Thursday of last week, if it closed, please go into Dotloop and check your file to see if the HUD and closing statement has been uploaded into Dotloop with everything placed in there and closed out.
And then
if it-
submit for review.
If it has not been received, you can always check and see if it's been received. If it has not been received, please make a few phone calls to the title company. Please check to see if you can find the HUD, get the check and get it to us today. We have till the end of business today to close out numbers for September. So we need to have those checks and the closing statements in today to be able to close out numbers for the month of September.
Yep.
If it closed in September, we want you to get credit in September.
Because that's the end of, yep. No, this is the last month of the third quarter. So that's all I got for today. Thank you much for attending. We'll break off to individual meetings now.